Story time of how Miami man robbed me of $140,000. This is part one because this is a long ass story. I met this guy who was at a dinner party with my girlfriend. After we wound up going to the club. If anybody knows, do not meet a man in Miami in the club. I worked remotely, so I was able to like travel. So we were like, hey, let's go travel. So we started to travel. It was just supposed to be like a week trip. We continued to travel, and then he hits me with I'm in a lawsuit right now. My business is like, my accounts are frozen. And, me being stupid 21-year-old thinking, oh, like, his accounts are frozen, right? It happens. It's business. Whatever. It's like, I can't use my cards right now. And I'm like, okay, like, he's already paid for everything. Why don't I just, like, I got it. Like, I had money, I had credit. I'm going to pay you back. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, we keep traveling, and next thing you know, I have like 7 to 8K in my card ran up. But I'm like, I'm starting to get a little worried here. Like, how's the lawsuit going? Like, you gonna pay me back? Like, again, I was making a lot of money, 7 to 8K. It's not a huge deal. I can recover from that. But we're still traveling. That's what he told me. So I thought he has Airbnbs. I'm thinking he's making money that way, whatever the case is. And that's what he tells me, right? He has Airbnb portfolios up in Boston. He was like, well, what I can do is I can help you with your credit. And then we could actually start a business together, right? Me, only being in corporate, I'm like, start a business? I would love to start a business, right? I don't want to work in corporate my whole entire life. I'm thinking this guy is going to help me start a business. We're going to do a few things to your credit, and we're going to get it into shape to where you can go apply for business funding. I open a business under my name. There's going to be a group of 3 people, and what we're going to do is we're going to sign a contract. We're all going to invest in an Airbnb property up in Boston so you guys can make passive income. I'm applying for business funds, taking out, he said you need to take out X amount. So I take out like $110,000 in total of business cards that we're supposed to invest into a property. We're still traveling, still waiting for that 7 to 8K to get paid back. Flash forward, we've been traveling for about 3 months now. I'm gonna pay you back as soon as the lawsuit's over. Like, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Well, next thing you know, there's about $25,000 in debt. This is when it took a turn. I was done once we hit that. I was like, that's a lot of money. Okay, like, I'm not gonna do anything else. Stupid me. We wound up moving in together. Keep listening for part 2. This is part 2 of how a Miami man robbed me of $140,000. Now we moved in together. It was a big mistake. We were supposed to be getting this business, whatever he said. He said, just wait, the other guy's getting his funding. He's just got to fix his credit first. Still waiting. He still owes me money. And well, he was like, well, I need to go on a business trip. I need to go to Haiti. I'm going to do a business deal. That way I can pay you back while my cards are frozen. Mind you, we're living together. I was on a business trip, and these credit cards that were supposed to be used for this property, I noticed a charge out in DR. Why is there a charge in DR when you're telling me you're in Haiti? So I start looking at these credit cards. I start looking at my American Express card. I start seeing all these business trips he was taking. He was using my credit cards. He was flying out girls with my credit cards. He flew a girl and her girlfriend out of Toronto, my credit cards. Not only that, he was using my credit cards to pay for his mom's stuff. Yes, I was dating a loser. Deep at this point, right? I'm in too deep. So I confronted him about it. He obviously got very aggressive. We're living together at this point. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm realizing there's like 50K now that's added up onto these cards. And I'm like, freak, 50K is a lot of money. Do I like try to wait to see if we're going to start this business? Like, he's already lied to me, already it's not good. But I don't know what to do at this point. It's 50K. Like, I don't have 50K to go pay back. So I'm like, well, hoping that maybe we'll still start this business. Again, I was 21. I was freaking stupid. Right?
Hi, I would like to vent about my complicated family because of this one thing. As I do so, please understand and remember that there is nuance to everything that cannot be conveyed in a 10-minute video, and please comment accordingly. Thank you. My 28th birthday is on Friday. Today is Wednesday the 15th. My birthday is Friday the 17th. 4 months we have planned for, as a family, my mother, my father, and my younger sister, the one thing that I said I wanted for my birthday. The one thing that I wanted, which was a JCPenney photo studio photo session with me, my sister, my parents, and my 2 cats. That's one of them. Yes, he took over my desk chair, so I brought in a spare one. I understood that this was a big ask for my family members for several reasons, a lot of which being that two of them do not particularly like to be photographed for their own personal reasons. The only reason everybody was willing to do it is because it was my birthday gift. They didn't have to spend any money on me. They could buy whatever photos they wanted. And also because they love me and they love the cats. I wanted to do it now and this year because both of my cats look young and they're in the prime of their life. I want to capture them when they're at their best, and I want to do it professionally so that we can have all the different combinations of people, including me. I don't have very many photos of me holding or interacting with my own cats because I live alone, and when my family is around, I'm the one taking pictures of them doing things, but my family doesn't really take photos of other people. So that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Now, put a pin in that. Let me give you some additional context. My parents have been married for 31 years. It will be 31 years later this month. And for the majority of that time, they have been at odds with each other. This is for a wide variety of factors that I'm not going to go into because I'm not going to tell their business all over the internet. But what I will say is that they are the kinds of parents that should have been divorced. They did not divorce for a couple of reasons. Number one, they couldn't afford to divorce. And number two, my mother does not believe in divorce for religious reasons unless there's infidelity. I am well aware they should have been divorced. That's not the point of this video. Please do not debate the validity of my mother's decisions in the comments. That's not the point of this video. My father and I do not have a relationship. We are cordial to each other, but for 10 years of my life, from age 16 to 26, we had no relationship because he straight up told me, I don't want to have a relationship with you because I don't like you. So we didn't have a relationship. Even before that, I was like trying to force something because I wanted to have a relationship with one half of my gene pool, but we just don't have anything in common. And even now, though, he did apologize and whatever when I was 28, we were 26. We are civil. I am respectful, but we do not have a relationship because we don't have anything in common. And regardless of who it is, why would you try to have some sort of relationship with someone with whom you have nothing in common? He is a very shallow, passive, and passive-aggressive person, and I am none of those things. So we have nothing in common. My mother and I do have a relationship. We have a pretty good relationship, I would say, although I do keep several things from her because it's not her business and she's proven not to be responsible with this stuff. So, but we're close. Now, historically, my dad has done something to ruin a lot of my birthdays. And when I say historically, I'm talking about most of my birthdays, my earliest memories, age 5, to when I moved out of my parents' house at age 22. Something has been done by him to perpetrate negatively affecting my birthday. It's usually him being passive-aggressive, whiny, mopey, childish, starting a fight with someone, engaging in, snipping at someone else. It's like stuff like that. That plus other factors have led it to be that now at my age of almost 28, I dread my birthdays. I don't like my birthdays. I just don't. The one exception was last year. My birthday was not stressful. Conveniently, I was not home. I was 3,000 miles away in California, where I lived at the time. And my friend and their family spent time with me because they wanted to. They baked me a cake because they wanted to. They did these, it was very nice and touching. And I think some of the whiplash I'm experiencing is because I don't have that this year, but whatever. So again, today is Wednesday the 15th. My birthday is Friday the 17th. The photos are Sunday the 19th. I finished up a meeting for work and went across the street to the pharmacy to pick up some prescriptions. While waiting in line at the pharmacy, I get a text from my father. And the top of the text, like the preview that I see on my phone, is, "Hi, I'd like to talk with you about what you want to do about Sunday's photos." And I'm thinking, what the fuck do you mean? We have decided on the date, the time, the location. Everyone has agreed. There is an invite on everyone's calendars. We've picked the colors. I know the shirt that everyone's wearing. Like, what is the fucking issue? His text proceeds to go on. It proceeds to tell me that he and my mom had a fight, and this is in his words and his perspective. He and my mom had a fight. She told him that she, quote unquote, married the wrong man, end quote, and that he was no longer willing to speak to or deal with my mom because he saw no point in being someone who doesn't want to be with him. So he said, "I will Uber to the photos, or you can keep me out of them if you want." And I just stared at the text like, I can't deal with this right now. I need to get my fucking ADHD meds and go home. I have work to do. But now that I'm here and the most time-pressing work is done, I am just, oh my God. First of all, the tone of the text, which I'm not putting on the screen because it contains other information that is not the internet's business, But the tone of it is very much whiny, oh poor me, definitely not telling me the full story. And he's done this before, but with my sister, so I know what he's doing. And we will not be doing that. We will not be playing these games. Here's the other thing, and he knows this because he was told this. One of the other reasons why my whole family is being involved in these pictures is because my dad and I are the only two people in the family comfortable handling both of my cats for an extended period of time without their harnesses on. My mom is not able to successfully hold the cat and not have him squirm or her squirm out of her arm. And my sister is just not comfortable doing so. So my dad and I both said, we will hand you the cat. All you have to do is hold for the 3 seconds it takes to snap a picture. Without my dad, I can't do that. I cannot wrangle two cats at the same time. With how big they are and the room we're going to be in, that's just not physically possible for me. But then on the other hand, I don't want him there because I know the tone of the text and I know what it means. And it means he's going to show up and be grumpy and passive aggressive and moody. And it's going to be not only not conducive to a nice natural series of portraits of my family and the cats, he's also going to be fucking embarrassing. And I'm going to have to apologize for his attitude to the photographer. And that is not appropriate. That is not adult. But he's not being an adult. So I have officially said, we're not doing the pictures. We're done. I'm done. Congrats. Everyone who didn't want to do it, you get your way. We're not doing the pictures. I'm done. And I'm pissed. That is the only thing that I wanted for my birthday. And I know that it isn't necessarily tied to my birthday, but I can't help but feel like it because of like the history. And I can't even say I'm sad and I can't even say I'm disappointed because I don't feel those things. I'm kind of just like, yep, I figured, because this is how it goes. Like, this is how it goes. The other thing that kind of gets me is because of this also means there will likely not be anyone at the finish line of the half marathon I'm running at the end of this month. And I have something else going on end of May that probably no one will be at. Which, okay. Again, I'm an adult. If I can't do something without a cheering section, should I really be doing it? I don't know. But like, this is why I move in silence with my family. This is why I just do what I do and I get what I get and I don't throw a fit and then I tell them after the fact. Because like, anyway. Thanks for listening. Isn't family fun?
Story time about my bachelorette trip while I was in a coercively controlling relationship. So first off, I barely even wanted to have a bachelorette because it was so hard to do anything without him when he wasn't there, because I always had to like keep him updated what I was doing. Even though he had my location, he was constantly texting me and I just thought that was normal. And I thought he was just interested in what I was doing. And sometimes when I would tell him like, hey, you know, I'm trying to focus on my friends, he'd be like, well, I'm just curious what you're doing. I just care about you. I care what you're doing. And I just thought he cared. I'm a very social, very fun person who loves to travel, and I have a ton of friends, and it was a big red flag for me that I didn't even really want to have a bachelorette trip. So anyway, my friends were like, no, we're doing something. And 3 of my closest friends came to Denver, where I was living at the time, and booked like a girls' weekend for us at a hotel. And my ex was there in Denver that weekend. His bachelor party was the following weekend in another city. My friends wanted to keep it easy for me by making it in the city I already lived in, so I didn't have to travel. And they were all also flying in. And I was just so grateful that they were planning something for me and that we were doing anything at all, because I had kind of convinced myself that I wasn't going to do any sort of celebration. They planned a few dinners and some Pilates classes and some fun, like, wholesome activities that is right up my alley, and it was so much fun. But the whole freaking weekend, I was having to tell him a play-by-play of what we were doing, and it was so annoying that I was just like, I don't even want to do anything because I don't want to have to explain what I'm doing. But this was all subconscious. Like, I wasn't even really clocking it at the time. I was just like, oh, this is just what being in a serious relationship is like. Like, you have someone to answer to all the time. Anyway, one night we were going out and like going to dinner and getting drinks. And as you guys know, my ex hated when I drank. And so I had like one drink at dinner. We went to this like really good sushi spot and had a drink at dinner, and then we were going to a bar afterward. and I wouldn't wear any like bachelorette sash or anything. My ex was like asking me what I was wearing because he's like, I just care, I want to know, like I'm just curious. He wanted to know what I was wearing, and so I was like, I'm just wearing like a sweater and jeans and not calling any attention to myself because he was so insecure. But again, at this time, I didn't realize it. I know, it sounds crazy, but I didn't realize it. So we went out to a bar after dinner, and I was like petrified. I felt so uncomfortable the whole time because there were guys there, and there were some guys that like came up to talk to us, and they were asking like what we were up to, and they were telling me telling them it's my bachelorette, and I was so scared to like talk to them because my ex had conditioned me that I was just a naturally really flirty person, and I gave men the wrong signal all the time. So I was just so uncomfortable. Again, my ex was texting me like the whole time, and I was just like, this isn't fun. Like I don't know. I just want to go home, and I just want to go to bed. So we left early basically, and yeah, I didn't want to do anything, and I wanted to pretty much be invisible, and I didn't want anyone to see me or to look at me, and I was just scared of taking up space and being seen. My ex had literally conditioned me to think that I was a problem and that I was just like really flirty and that I needed to be careful and tread carefully. And I know I should have recognized this at the time, and now I do, but you know, when you're young and naive and you're told this is how relationships are, no one really talks about it. So I was like, yeah, this is just normal. This is just what a relationship is like. And thought he just cared about me. And you know, I feel like girls also talk about how it's a good thing for a guy to be protective. And yes, like to an extent, but protective is so different from controlling. I didn't know it was wrong, so that's why I'm sharing.
So, let's get into my troubles with Paula. When I was 9, I believe I was in the 3rd grade, she started packing my lunches with potted meat. I don't know if we're all familiar. Some of us may love potted meat. However, the potted meat in 3rd grade was not a great look. The other kids said that it looked like cat food, which fair, and when opened that it smelled like cat food. Again, fair. So they started hissing at me and meowing to such a degree, like I had to cry, obviously. And then I put my lunch back in my backpack because, like, hello. And so I had my best friend, and she was like, you can share my lunch. And her lunch was a normal lunch with like chips and a sandwich and I believe like a fruit roll up, whatever. She split it with me, and so all was good in the world. And so I get home, and I don't really think a lot of it. Like, it's not really something I'm going to address, but it turns out that my best friend told her mom what had happened, and her mom told my mom about like the scene in the cafeteria. So my mom is furious, right? So I get home, she goes through the backpack, she finds the potted meat that I have not eaten, and so I have wasted, even though it's potted meat. Pretty sure it's shelf stable. So she tells me, come here, Miss Piggy, because I think the piggy was because I had eaten half of my friend's food. That's the only correlation. But she said, come here, Miss Piggy, and she stands me in front of the fridge, and she just takes every condiment or cottage cheese, yogurt, and she smeared it all over my face and in like my hair, my arms, and she kept like rubbing it in until I naturally barfed. And I think that is like something I still am processing, like, to this day. like being a Miss Piggy, and also there are some condiments that I can't eat. So just a, you know, a day in the life of a third grade girl. So there's that.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to jump on really quick and say thank you to everyone who has left a kind and supportive comment. It's really helpful to, you know, have some validation that things were nuts when I was a kid. But I did want to also say that I have managed to mess up and hurt people of my own, which we will get to if you keep watching the videos. So I just wanted to be clear to say that I'm not really. Maybe I was a victim then, but I definitely am not, or haven't been. And so stick with me, and we'll go through it all. But just thank you to everyone who, like my 9-year-old self feels nice to know that there's so many supportive people out there. So I guess this would be my Adopted Mom Hates Me Halloween Candy Edition. I believe this is a year out from the condiment edition. So our church didn't do Halloween. They did the weird Tootsie Rolls at their fall festival that were like pink and green. So my friend, my best friend, she had smuggled me some of her candy, which she had in my back. So I took my contraband home, and I did not leave it in my backpack, learned a valuable lesson. So I put it in my bottom dresser drawer, and I ate them, and then I kept the wrappers in the bottom dresser drawer because I thought it was safer than the trash, but I don't know. Clearly your girl wasn't the sneakiest. So anyway, she found them. I was outraged. I was a Miss Piggy for having the candy, and also, I guess, for not cleaning it up. So I had to throw it all away, which is fine. And I don't know, like, what kind of program you have at your houses, but in my childhood home, we had a kitchen trash that was just for wrappers, maybe paper towels, you know, just napkins. Anything actually gross went to the garage. So the garage trash was one of those huge, like, rolling, anyway, so it would hold like 3 or 4 trash bags. And this is where, like, expired things went, dog poop, old leftovers out of the fridge, expired milk, all of the things. So she went out and got one, and she, like, took a knife and ripped its belly open, and she just started, like, swinging it around my room. And so dog poop and old meat and leftovers, and the smell was, oh my god, the smell. And so she went, there was 2 more bags, so she went back and got the other 2, and she did the exact same thing, and they got everywhere. It was on my walls, my carpet, my bed, me. And so she did all that, and then she went to the bedroom over, like the spare room, and she started praying loudly for God to help her to stop. So I'm like, So I started praying for God to help her to stop, but she didn't stop. She just kept coming in and screaming, and I remember, I mean, I know she had the ping pong paddle, which is what she spanked me with. My dad spanked with the belt. And I remember just being, like, hit, and the smell, and I think I think that, like, that was the time that I realized, or I felt like, oh, I am a little pig after all. So yeah, that was a bad day. I think still something I struggle with, obviously, is being hyper aware that I don't think you can smell that smell and not feel like less than human. So, yeah, the lady, she did not like me. What are you gonna do?
Okay, here's my next edition of My Adopted Mom Hates Me, Broken Nose Edition. So we had family that lived in the mountains, and we would travel there for time in the summer and Christmas and occasionally Thanksgiving. This was a summertime trip. I specifically remember that my adopted dad, Larry, had just been caught cheating again. And it had been like an all-nighter of yelling and the crashing of things, but somehow I guess we just pulled it together and got in the car and took our trip. So we arrive at the family's house, and my parents oddly decided that we should do like a family bike ride. So we get our bikes, and not my parents, but our family lived in a log cabin set kind of high in the mountains, and to access it was this really rutted, just dirt road, and went between the rain and the snow, it would get these horrible like rivets and potholes. Like, it was difficult to get a car up. It was very steep. So we're getting ready to go, and Larry takes off because Larry's gonna do Larry always. So he is down the hill and out. And so we're sitting on our bikes at the top, and I tell my mom, I said, it's too steep, like I'm gonna fall. And she said, you're not gonna fall, just go, it's fine. And I was like, I think I just want to walk my bike down because I think I'm gonna fall. And she said, or I said, I'm afraid I'm gonna fall. And she's like, what are you not afraid of? What are you not, like, surely you can ride a bike. I mean, you can't play sports, you can't play a musical instrument, or you have no talent whatsoever, but surely you can ride this bike down this hill. And I'm thinking, no, I can't. Like, it was really steep. Like, I didn't want to. But just as I was like, this isn't happening, she put her hand on the back of my bike seat and pushed. And I hit almost immediately. I hit a rut, and I just went like ass over handlebars, essentially. And then my dumb ass doesn't even let go of the bike. So I'm like literally rolling, holding it. So the ground is like bruising me, and the bike keeps hitting me in different spots. And it just keeps going. It's like literally that steep. And so I get up and I walk my bike all the way down to the like flat road. And here she comes, obviously so talented because she was able to get down the steep hill. And so she takes a look at me, and my nose is broken. I have like a gash here, like some weird rock divot here. You can't really see it because of my makeup, but trust, it's there. And scrapes, bruises, a black eye. Like, I mean, it, like I got my, I was beat up. And so we have to go to the like local medical center to do something about my nose because it's gushing blood and it's swelling and there's a problem. So we get there, and the nurse or possibly doctor was like, what happened? But here's the key. She didn't ask me, because I guess she didn't ask me. She asked my mom. And so my mom looked her straight in the eyes, like, and was like, I told her to walk her bike down this, rutted road, but she didn't listen and she fell. And so they're all like, oh. So they do their checkup. I had to get some stitches here. This weird thing, they didn't do anything. And then I had the nose thing to hold my nose together, and then, you know, various things that were, I mean, my knee was skinned, but no other bones. But it was astonishing that she could just, happy as a clam, be like, I mean, she threw me, like, not only did she throw me, like, down the hill, but then she threw me under the bus, too. And so we got all that done. The car ride back, she has nothing to say to me, nothing at all. And then we get to our family's house, and they're like, what happened? And I just looked at her, and she told her story again, and nobody questioned it. So yeah, that's how I broke my nose. I think I was around 10 at this time, but I guess stay tuned for the next edition of whatever this is.
I'm going to share with y'all the reason that I cannot go to my local grocery store. This is the most embarrassing story that I could ever tell about myself. It actually keeps me up at night. So one night, it's like 8 p.m. and I'm at home and I'm gonna make a pot roast the next day. So I have my crock pot and have all my ingredients laid out, and I realized I needed a packet of au jus gravy. Like, oh, no problem, I'll run up to Ingles. So I throw on a sweatsuit. This is important later. And I drive to Ingles. It's like 2 minutes up the road. I get there and I go inside and I get a mini buggy. Not the big ones, but just the little short mini ones. And I sit my purse in it and I walk straight into the spice aisle. Now, our Ingles at the time was being renovated, and so everything was kind of switched around everywhere. Half the store was closed, so everything was smushed. So everybody was kind of having a hard time finding things. I had walked around and looked for this little packet of spice forever, and finally I found the spice aisle. I'm over there and I'm looking, and it's taking me a minute. I mean, everything's crammed on these aisles, and so I'm like looking for it, don't really see it. And there's two ladies standing directly behind me. They're looking for whatever's on the shelf directly to my back. I'm still looking, and I feel someone fall into me and like push me forward, and I'm immediately like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And it's this old lady, and I'm like helping her up, and she's like, oh, I'm okay. I lost my footing looking for something. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad you're okay. The store's crazy. They're like, yeah, it's hard to find everything. We're making small talk. I'm like, I know, I've been looking for this spice for 10 minutes. And they carry on with their day. I carry on with mine. We're standing there still looking for what we're looking for. For my spice, I'm looking. They keep looking, making comments. I'm still looking. I find my spice. I get it. I put it in my buggy, and I'm like, all right, I got what I need. Y'all, good luck. I hope y'all have a good night. They're like, yeah, you too. Thank you. Blah, blah, blah. You know. Southern hospitality, right? I get my buggy and I walk off to the next aisle. I forgot to tell y'all, I also needed pepperoncini peppers to make a Mississippi pot roast. So the au jus gravy and the peppers. I got my cart and went over an aisle to look for these pepperoncini peppers. So I get over there and I'm looking at all these jarred vegetables, and all of a sudden I hear screaming. Y'all, I don't mean screaming like, help me, help me. I mean like screaming like something was wrong. And I hear, help me, help me. Mind you, the store's almost empty, and I'm looking around like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I got my little buggy, I'm like, what is happening? Loud, they're like, help, help, call the police, call the police. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? There's nobody on my aisle, it's just me. This is happening very quickly. It's like screaming. I'm like, what in the world's happening? And all of a sudden I hear, call the police, call the police. And it's getting louder. Whoever's yelling's coming down my aisle. So I'm like looking like, who's about to come around that corner? And all of a sudden, the lady that I just picked up off the floor steps around the corner, but she's not yelling. And the lady that was yelling was the one that was with her. She comes barreling around the corner. And I'm like, what is happening? You know, I'm like stunned. And all of a sudden she goes, get her! Call the cops! She's stealing! And I'm like, call them! Oh my gosh, somebody's stealing her purse! And I'm looking like, oh my gosh, somebody stole this woman's purse. Like, go get them, girl! Go in front of me! Go get them! I'm like backing up, you know, like I'm expecting her to like bullet through this aisle to go get whoever's stealing her purse. Y'all, she comes running at me. Me! And I'm like, you know, like, oh my Lord, what's happening? He's like, call the police, she's stealing my purse. And again, I'm like, me? He started screaming, look at her, she's dressed like a criminal in all black. And I look down and I'm in all black and I'm like, ma'am, I'm not a criminal. I would never steal anything. This is happening so fast. Again, this is happening so fast. And I'm like, ma'am, I would never steal anything. And she's like, that's my purse.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
So I'm like pleading to this woman as fast as I can, like, I'm a teacher, I would never steal anything, like, I didn't steal, what do you mean? You know, like grasping for straws here. And she's like, that's my purse, look. And y'all, I'm standing there like, and I look down and every bone in my body almost turned to dust. I almost evaporated and went up under the aisle. When I looked down, it was her black purse, not mine. I think I blacked out because I can't even tell you what happens in that moment when I looked down and saw that it was her purse. I literally, my body like gave out. I just, when my soul went. I really couldn't tell you like exactly what took place in those few seconds. But I do know when I came to out of the coma that this humiliation just sent me into, she jerked that buggy out of my hands and then just kind of like stomped off and was like, I'm calling the police. But she was like talking to herself. And I'm like, so immediately they walk off and I'm left on the aisle by myself and I'm like stunned, right? Like, oh my God, these people are, I'm a thief, but I'm not, but they think I am. And I don't want anybody mad at me. And so I'm like on the verge of tears and I look up and there's a 16-year-old little bag boy and he's like, and I'm like, and he's like, I'm like, and he just walks off. And so I just walked off the other way. After I, you know, discombobulate all my thoughts that were going on, I'm like, yeah, wait, where's my buggy? So I'm like praying that these ladies have went away from the area. And so I walk, yo, it was like 20 feet. I walk back down the aisle and I turn it and there's my buggy with my Kate Spade purse. And I'm like, you know, if these ladies had 2 cents about them, they would have realized my buggy was right there with my purse in it and my AirPods and my wallet, my keys, my entire life, my phone, everything was sitting right there. They would have known like, okay, this was probably an accident because here's all her stuff. Of course, I'm gonna call my mama. So I call my mama and I'm like, Mama, this lady thinks I'm a thief, blah, blah. I'm like bawling and my mama starts laughing. Do I continue shopping or do I just go home? And she's like, no, girl, get your groceries. And sure enough, every aisle I was going down, they were on. I was like, oh my God, I wanted to melt and go into the heavens, into the sky, into the ground. I didn't care. I wanted out of that situation. So I just ditched my car and I left. Why? I will never show my face again at Ingles. Just kidding. I do go there sometimes, but I really do. I hit my knees and pray before I go in. Please don't let these 2 old ladies be in there. I will literally dissipate out of humiliation. And that's why I don't go to my local grocery store.
Sure, I was about to be taken at a flea market. Thrifting obviously is my jam. I love to thrift, and my 2 best friends and I went away to Arizona for the weekend just for like a girls trip. It was strictly like a thrifting girls trip because we all just love to do it. And while we were there, we decided to go to a flea market that my friend had found. And before we got to the flea market, we decided to stop at McDonald's and get a quick bite to eat. And so we're sitting there eating our meal. We are in like open table seating, so like not a booth, so it's like table, and we're just sitting there eating. And when we're done, we all had to use the restroom before we left because we were like, we don't know if there's gonna be a bathroom at this flea market. Probably not. So I tell them, why don't you guys go to the bathroom and I'll stay here with the drinks and then we'll switch. So they leave to go to the bathroom, and almost immediately this older man, he's probably like late 60s, early 70s, makes a comment, something about them leaving me with the drinks or something. I don't even know what he said. I was like kind of on my phone, not really paying attention. I didn't actually even notice him sitting there. And I made a comment back like, oh yeah, like I offered or something like that. And I kind of go to look back at my phone. I'm pretty introverted. I am not very friendly. I don't really talk to people I don't know. But he continues the conversation. And so now I feel like, okay, like this is some older man. He just wants to talk, you know? So I don't even know what was said. Like, I know we brought up like the thrifting thing, and I said something to him like, oh yeah, we're from California, we're on a girls trip thrifting. And he's like, oh, that's cool, I like to do that too. And I said, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Idaho. And I said, oh, my brother-in-law used to live in Idaho, they really liked it there. I said, what part of Idaho are you from? He said, oh, southern. I don't even remember. He said the name of the place, but I don't remember. I said, oh, okay. So, well, what are you doing here? And this is where I started to get the feel of like, so I don't know. He said, oh, it's a long story. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, you don't have to say anything. And so now I'm kind of like, I don't really want to talk anymore. This is how I'm feeling. Like, I don't really want to talk anymore. It just kind of, I don't know, when the way he said it just kind of gave me the creeps. And then he said, oh, have you been to the flea market? And this is where I know I went wrong. And I said, oh yeah, we're actually on our way there right now. He goes, oh, I haven't been to the one here. I've been to the one in Las Vegas. Have you been there? I said, nope, haven't been there. And as we're saying this, my friend comes walking out of the bathroom. And I said, oh, he's talking about the flea. I said something like, I was trying to transition out of the conversation because I was like, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. So I said, oh, he's talking about the flea market. And I said, I'm going to go to the restroom. So I go to the restroom, come back. They're still chatting. Okay. And I'm like, ugh, like, okay, like, let's go. And he says something like, oh, where's this flea market you guys are going to? I might check it out. And my friend goes, oh, let me get the address for you. And I looked at my other friend, because there's three of us. I looked at my other friend like, you know, like I tried to give the eyes, but I don't feel like anybody was like feeling the eyes. And I don't know what their conversation was while I was in the bathroom, but I was already feeling like icky, you know? And so I'm like, oh, like I don't want her giving the address, but I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Don't give him the address. Like, we're right there, you know, we're meant, or, you know, we're taught to be kind, respectful people. I should have just freaking said like, or made up a excuse or something. I don't know. So she gives him the address. So we leave, and I kind of say to them like, oh, like we shouldn't have given him the address. Like, it's weird. I don't know. And my friend goes, oh, it's a big flea market. Like, you know, he just probably wants to look around too or whatever. It was like no big deal. And I get it. I was like, yeah, it's no big deal. Like, it's probably just my own, like my worst fear is like being kidnapped and murdered. I've been like that since I was a kid. So, and the other weird thing before, like when he asked for the address and after she gave it to him, he was like, oh, I'm sure you three wild women don't need a chaperone. I was kind of like, haha, funny, you know? So we leave, we go to the flea market, we walk into the flea market, and we go into the first row. And the first row is like a bunch of like business kind of places, and that's not my jam. Like, I want more people like garage sale-y kind of stuff where they kind of got their shit out on a blanket and I just want to like dig through, or boxes. So we get to the end of the first row and we can see all the way to the back row area is a bunch of people like that. So like all the way, it's like far back. Mostly, you know, when you go, like, you're just like in and out of the aisles, but we like cut through all the way to the back. So we start looking around, we get to about the third or fourth booth, and all of a sudden I just see this man walk up on us and he goes, found you. And I'm like, okay. And he says, what are you guys finding? And I'm like, I'm not going to speak. Like, I'm done. And my friend goes, oh, like I could tell she was uncomfortable. She was like, oh, I don't know, like with some dolls and stuff. Like, what'd you find? And he goes, oh, I found you. And I'm like, nope, I'm fucking done. I don't like this. You're giving me the creeps. So we're at this booth and we kind of like went, you know, funny. And we're like looking around. I'm looking at them and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And he's still like kind of in this area. Okay. I think I'm going to have to make part 2 because I'm running out of time. Okay, this is part 2 of how I thought I was going to be taken at a flea market. If you missed part 1, you can go back a video. So this guy is like still circling around us. And we're like trying to walk through this booth, and if you've ever been to a flea market, it's like everybody has their station, right? So he's just kind of like going around the same lady station where we are, and I'm like, I just want to get away. So when he starts to go to the back of this station, there was like a truck or something, and he went behind it. I was like, let's go. So we like take off, not running, just like walking fast, and I'm like, let's go. We went like, we cut across, we went down to like somebody else's booth, and I'm just like looking back. I don't see him. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm like reading too much into this. Like maybe he did just happen to come up on us. I don't know how, but like, okay. So I'm like, I don't know. I just was trying to like justify it. And then of course my friends the whole time are like, he likes you, like you're the one he wants, you know, like we're kind of trying to like make light of it, you know, but I'm like, my stomach just feels disgusting. I feel like everything inside of me just felt high alert. So we start going to other booths. I'm still just like looking around, looking back. I don't see him. We probably go about another 40 minutes. Like we're stopping at booths, we're buying things, we're doing whatever. I'm like, okay, this guy's gone. We lost him, and he just happened to find us. Maybe he saw we weren't interested and just moved along. So as we are done in the back, we start to move back up towards the front. So we're like going up and down the aisle, or like through the aisles, and we get to the second to the last row of where the entrance was, and the entrance and the exit is the exact same area. So we get to that second row, and like I said, I am just like on high alert. So we start to walk down this row, and all of a sudden I go, there he is, like that. And my friend goes, oh, okay. And so where we were, this booth had like a big white truck behind it, like probably to hold whatever they were trying to sell. So my friend's like, stay right there, like behind the truck, because like here's our row, and he's in the very row of like the first row where the entrance and exit is, and he's right at like 2 booths over from where the entrance and the exit is, and he's just circling that area, looking like he's not shopping. He is circling, and I'm like, he's looking for us. He is waiting by this exit because he knows this is where we have to go out, and he's just circling. So I stay behind this truck. My friend moves down to the next booth, and this guy has just like a pickup truck, and so she's kind of like behind the pickup truck, and then my other friend goes down a little bit farther, and she's got a hoodie on, so she like puts her hood on, and she's kind of watching him, and this guy is just circling. So my friend who's behind the truck, she's like looking at me the whole time, and she was like, stay there, don't move. What we were hoping is he was actually like shopping and was going to be moving along, and then once he moved along, we would keep walking. He never moved along. So we're there for just like minutes, just watching him circle, and I'm just like trying to hide behind the truck. I am getting more and more scared, and all of a sudden I see this guy come up on my friend at the truck, and he's pulling a wagon. He's got his kid in there, he's got his wife with him, and he jokingly says to my friend, like, I see you, like you're hiding. And it looked like we were hiding, and he jokingly said it, and my friend turned to him and she said, yeah, we are hiding. She's like, this guy is following us. And he immediately was like, what? Like, no, like he wanted to like say something, do something about it. My friend's like, no, like we just want to leave and get out of here. So he leaves the wagon with his kid, with his wife, and he's like, I'm gonna walk you guys out, okay? Like, I'm gonna walk you to your car. And so we get with the guy, they come and get me behind the truck. We start to walk out the exit, and I immediately see that the guy sees us. He starts following us out the exit. I don't think at this point he realized that this other man was like walking with us. It probably to him was just a coincidence, like we're all exiting at the same time. But we start talking to him, and we're like, this is the guy, he's following us. And the guy keeps like looking back at him. Like the guy that was helping us was like looking back at him, and he follows us all the way to the exit. And then it was like, once he realized that this guy was with us, he like turned around and went back into the flea market. So now we're walking to the car, and my one friend who like gave the address was like kind of saying to us, like, I don't really want anybody like going to our car. Like, how do we know this guy's not in on it? But you know, when you just like trust your gut, every vibe off this guy that was helping us was good vibes. Like, I truly just think he saw what was happening, and he was like, nope, like I'm gonna make sure these girls get to their car safe. I didn't get bad vibes from him. maybe that was also a stupid thing that we like let him walk us to the car, but we did. So we walk all the way to the car. We get in the car, the guy leaves, we tell him thank you, and so we start to leave, and I just had this grossest, sickest feeling, and I was like, we're in Arizona, we're probably only one of the people with California plates in this parking lot. How do I know he didn't put a tracker on us? How do I know like he's not following us? So we leave and we decide to like, our whole day is thrifting, so we're like, we're gonna go to, you know, garage sales and Goodwill stores and stuff like that, and just everywhere we went we were just like looking, making sure we didn't recognize anybody, and thankfully we didn't. But this is the grossest I have ever felt, or like closest I've ever come to thinking like maybe somebody was really trying to do something bad to us. Like the fact that he came to this flea market, the fact that he came all the way to the back where we were, within minutes of us being there, tells me he was following us. And then once he lost us, he was just at the front, like at the exit, waiting for us. I mean, you could clearly tell he was not shopping, he was looking for us. So I am so thankful for that man who stopped and walked us to the parking lot, because I don't know what would have happened. I don't do well in pressure situations. I hope like I would have become loud and been like, you know, get the fuck away and blah blah blah, but I was so terrified. I just felt everything shut down. One of the scariest moments of my life, and makes me just realize, this is what I took away from it, was like, you know what, I don't need to care what people think about me. I don't need to be nice to everybody. It's okay to be rude when you don't feel comfortable. And that whole time at McDonald's that I just kept talking, and I felt ickier and ickier, and I wanted to stop talking, but I was so afraid of coming off like a rude person. You know what? I don't care. I need to be a bitch.
Bro, I love walking around SF in little lad shit like this, and then old men just look at me and they're like, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm a woman, but I'm wearing jean shorts to my knees. Isn't that crazy? Get ready with me to get fired from Sephora. So I know I'm getting fired because we get little notifications in our apps about our attendance points. And it was like, you'll expect to have a conversation with your manager the next time you see them. Even though the last time I saw them was the day I got basically sent home because I had a really bad reaction to the IUD. And I was literally like sobbing and I looked disgusting. So yeah, basically they said like they can't accept doctor's notes. So I had to call whatever their like insurance health people are, but then they said that they can't accept doctor's notes because it's not like technically a leave, because I literally just missed one singular day of work. I just didn't have hours to cover it, and I was at 11 points, and they weren't gonna reset until March. Honestly, yesterday when I first found out that this was happening, I was very much upset about it. I love my coworkers a lot. We obviously spend a lot of time together, so that really sucks. I'm gonna miss them a lot. But I honestly wasn't making enough at Sephora for everything that I have to pay for. Like, it was kind of a struggle, honestly. I just, like I said, really enjoyed my coworkers, and so that's what kind of kept me there. And also the benefits are really nice. Like, this foundation was free. So yeah, I'm just really gonna miss my discount because I love it. I just love to buy new things from there, but that's gonna be so much good, like so much better for me to save money, I guess, because everything is so expensive. Like, I should buy a new one of these before I lose my discount, but can't afford it. And we were just about to get our March gratis. I love it. That's where I got the NARS foundation from. This is also simultaneously a get ready with me for an interview at Chili's. So I work fast, I guess. This is the second time that I have been, like, I lost a job and then literally got a job the next day. Yeah, I got the interview yesterday when I found out I was being fired because I was like, I can't not have a job. The only thing I'm kind of worried about with that is that it was literally scheduled right immediately after I submitted my application. I will say that, like, that only happened for one location because I applied to a couple and those other ones were like, oh, we'll let you know. But that one was like immediately letting me do an interview. So I'm thinking they probably just need people, which I am desperate for a job right now. I'm honestly really nervous though to get fired because I've been working there for over a year and like the management I know really well. And every single time I ever have, like, in any of my jobs across the years, have to talk to, like, a manager about something that, like, bad, like, literally I'm about to get fired, I literally can't not cry. I don't know what it is. Like, I literally can sit down in the room with them and my eyes start watering. Yeah. Literally, I just got a text from one of my managers asking me to stay later today. And then asking me to stay later today because they know I'm the employee that will stay later. But yeah, fire me because of the attendance point system. Go ahead. Yeah, ask me to stay later. And then when I go to look at the message to take a screenshot, it's unsent. Okay. He, like, that literally just proved that just validated all of my feelings, honestly, about the way this has been making me feel. Because literally, there's no lenience at all with the attendance points policy. And my previous points that I also have a doctor's note that I can't get approved for was from November, and they were about to reset literally around now. And I am, like, the employee that they text to do everything. Like, I've been to so many different stores doing their inventory until 2 a.m. Like, they text me because they know I'll say yes. I take back everything I said about crying while I get fired. I feel so much better now. Like, yeah. I hope you are so busy later. I really do. I hope you're busy. And, like, bro, you have got to be kidding me. I slightly take it back because I might cry if some of my favorite coworkers are there. And I know one of them is... And that is going to suck so bad. Honestly, it really is. Because I spend more time with these people than anyone else. Literally anyone else. I am a part-time employee and I work pretty much typically 4 or 5 days a week. Which I know is like 4 is normal, but pretty usually 5 days a week. And it's not like those shifts were literally 4 or 5 hours. For the most part, all of them like during the week would be 9 hours. And then I would have like a shorter shift on the weekend. So it's not like I was literally coming in for 20 hours a week. Like, I was working basically full-time for them. Literally working on my hands and knees for them. Okay, I guess I have mixed emotions because I'm just really nervous because for a couple hours, I definitely don't have a job. I'm just really banking on this Chili's needing employees and that I know I'm good at selling myself and, like, talking about myself, basically. I've had a bunch of jobs. I'm fast at learning. Like, I'm just good at basically, yeah, selling myself, I guess. I guess this makes the moral of the story, fuck attendance point systems. Because that's how you lose good employees. My dad was just telling me last night that his company abolished it a couple years ago because of that exact reason. You lose good employees. Like, I literally had the flu in November, really bad. I was really sick, but I didn't have sick hours to cover it because I don't get time fast enough. So yeah, I accrued a bunch of points from that. So this is a message to companies that attendance point systems are stupid, especially when you like the employee. I will say that my head manager that I talked to yesterday, I texted her, she did say she did seem sad that I had to go and understand that obviously they aren't in charge of that part of Sephora, so they have to follow the rules and do what they're told. So it's nothing against them personally, because I actually do I really loved working there. Actually, for a long time. I worked there. This is the longest I've ever kept a job, honestly. Other than I worked as a lifeguard, but that's a summer job, so I feel like it doesn't count. I can't decide if I want to wear my uniform or not, because I know I'm walking in to get fired and immediately leave. So yeah, I don't know. Wish me luck. I hope I don't cry.
You know what I was just thinking about? Karens are going to be completely extinct by the time it comes to our generation. I'll tell you why. Our generation, I feel like we're just have so much pent up anger that we're like ready to like unleash on someone. So like if there's a Karen at the PTA meeting, Stacy in the green Altima with the blue hair will kick her ass.
What's the dumbest reason you ever went to the ER? I'll go first. So I am 20 and I am at home. It's summertime and it's a Friday night. So of course I'm watching Survivor with my mom in my pajamas, eating chicken and rice for dinner. We are like a couple minutes before tribal council. I mean, honestly, I am chowing down on this rice. There's no other way to say it. And then all of a sudden, my jaw shifts out of place. And I'm like, oh, and my mom's like, Jess, are you okay? And I'm like, and she thinks I'm choking. I'm like, I can't communicate with her because my jaw is stuck. I've dislocated my jaw. And so then she's like pounding me on the back. There's chicken and rice flying out of my mouth. Again, because she thinks I'm choking and dying. She starts giving me the Heimlich, which is doing nothing other than hurting my sternum. Because, again, I'm not choking. My jaw is dislocated. I'm trying to communicate to her that my jaw is dislocated and not actually able to move my jaw enough to tell her. So eventually she stops giving me the Heimlich. She moves my bowl of chicken and rice. She's like, baby, what's wrong? And I get my phone and I text her, my jaw is dislocated. And she goes, fuck, are you serious? And I'm like, uh-huh. So she Googles what to do for a dislocated jaw. Because I have Ehlers-Danlos. I've dislocated my joints before. It's not a big deal. A jaw dislocation's a big deal. She Googled what to do for a dislocated jaw. WikiHow in 13 steps. Steps 1 through 12. Go to an ER. Step 13, if you're in the woods and you can't go to an ER, here's what you do. She clicks on that. First step of that one, go to an ER. So apparently you absolutely have to go to an ER for a jaw dislocation. And I'm in my pajamas. There's still chicken and rice in my mouth. And like, I'm mortified. She drives me to the ER and we have this bandage from when I got my wisdom teeth removed that she wraps around my head. I'm feeling like stupid. Because what do you mean my jaw got stuck open while I'm eating chicken and rice? We go to the ER. We wait in the ER waiting room for like 2.5 hours. It's ridiculous. I'm in a shit ton of pain. I'm having like a miserable time. And I'm just like, they could just pop it back in. This is super simple and fixed. No. We finally get into a room, doctor comes in, and he's like, so what are we doing here? It's like 1 a.m. And my mom's like, she dislocated her jaw. And he goes, okay, let's take a look. He takes a look. He goes, yeah, it's a dislocated jaw. Thank you. He's like, so we're going to put it back in. And if it doesn't go back in, we need surgery immediately. And I'm like, what do you mean we need, just put it back in? Like, it's, and now this is suddenly a much bigger deal than I thought. So, doctor comes in, and he's like, now, Mom, I'm going to have you watch this in case this happens again. He puts on 2 pairs of rubber gloves. This man then wraps his thumbs in gauze. And he goes, now, what I'm going to do next looks unprofessional, but I promise this is the way to do it. He pulls me a little bit down the bed. This full-ass, grown-ass doctor man straddles me pretty much on the bed, puts his whole entire thumbs into my mouth. I swear to God, his thumbs touched my tonsils. And he's like, now breathe in. And he pushes down, pushes in, and then pulls out, and my jaw pops back into place. Hallelujah. And he unstraddles me. He's like, jaw's in place. And I'm like, great, thank you. But I'm not supposed to talk, so I'm just like. So he steps back, he ungauzes his thumbs. He pulls off both pairs of gloves, throws them away. He goes, now how did this happen? My mom says, we were eating chicken and rice. Because she's tired, I'm tired. And the doctor looks at me, looks at my mom, and goes, how did this actually happen? My mom goes, we were eating chicken and rice pilaf. The doctor looks at me and he goes, would you like your mother to step out like you are an adult? And I'm like, no, that's exactly what happened. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Because otherwise I was going to give you some tips on how to prevent this from happening again. So just don't do the activity that led you to do this. And I'm like, you're telling me not to eat? He goes, no, well, I'm not saying don't eat, but yeah, I don't know. I've never had this. Doctor leaves. And then my mom and I are sitting there. I have to be like waiting for a couple minutes. I'm like, I'm on pain meds. I'm blissed. But pain meds give me hiccups. And my mom said something that wasn't funny necessarily, but I already had the hiccups, so I hiccup and so I'm like, ah! My mom's like, baby, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to. Oh God, don't tell me it's. And my jaw is dislocated again. So my mom goes in the hallway. She's like, doctor, it's dislocated again. And he goes, we gotta wait at least an hour before I can put it back in properly. So now I'm still sitting there waiting for this doctor to put my jaw back in a second time. And a second time, this man comes in. Double gloves, double gauzes, straddles me on this hospital bed, puts his thumbs back in as far as they could possibly reach. And he slides it back in. And he goes, no, don't fucking talk. And if you know me, it's a lot easier said than done. So we finally get discharged. And I'm like gauzed and wrapped. My face looks all weird. And that is the quietest I was ever in my life for that week where I was like not allowed to talk. Literally the quietest. But easily the stupidest I felt going to an ER.